Hi YouTube! Today I'm sharing with you a video that I have been working on for a very long time now. I've done all the science of every ghost type. I've researched and experimented with all the different ghost types in the game. This is going to be my biggest project on this channel to date, so if you're new to Phasmophobia or you just want to learn more about the individual ghost types, then you can watch the whole video. You may learn something new. If you want information on a specific ghost type, then you can find a timestamp for each section in the video. Remember to like and subscribe, and let me explain all the ghost types in depth. Number 1. The Spirit. A very generic and very simplistic ghost. The Spirit is the ideal ghost for hunters that just want a simple game. The thing that's special about the Spirit is that it isn't special at all. This ghost has no strengths to benefit it in any way. It can't hunt earlier than regular ghosts, and it's not faster during a hunt. The Spirit does, however, have one weakness. When you cleanse the ghost's room with a smudge stick, it will be incapable of hunting you for a whole 3 minutes. Other ghosts can be smudged as well, but only for half the time, being 1 minute 30 seconds. You can use this to help you identify the ghost, or you can just use it to stay safe if your sanity is low. This ghost can start to hunt you around 50% sanity. That is the default of most ghosts. The Spirit overall is not a huge threat to experienced hunters. Number 2. The Wraith. A step up from the Spirit, the Wraith is a bit more complex. Myths and legends that are completely mixed up say that this ghost is capable of walking through walls, which is completely false. This ghost, however, does have the ability to teleport to the location of a player while you're in the process of gathering evidence. This ability can cause mix-up and confusion of the ghost location if you have not yet found the ghost room. The Wraith has nothing that benefits it during a hunt in any way. It hunts at average sanity, and it's not faster than any other ghost. This ghost does have a weakness that can help identify it. When the Wraith steps through salt, it won't leave any UV footprints behind. It will still leave an indent in the salt pile, but there will be no trail left behind. Number 3. The Phantom. Similar to the Wraith, the Phantom can roam far from its ghost room to the direction of the player. This can stump players in a similar way. It doesn't do this often, it is a hidden ability, so don't rely on it too much to identify the ghost. But if you do happen to see this, then you can probably narrow the ghost down to being either a phantom or potentially a wraith. When taking a photo of the phantom during a manifestation ghost event, the phantom will disappear when you snap a pic while the ghost event may continue. This is the only ghost that does this, so if you see this, then you are almost certain to have a phantom. Looking at a phantom in a ghost event will also significantly drop your sanity by a larger amount than other ghosts. The phantom does have something that benefits it during a hunt. The phantom goes invisible for longer periods of time and shows itself a lot less. It flickers in a different pattern than other ghosts. This can make the phantom very hard to see, so maybe you don't try any looping strategies. Number 4. The Poltergeist, a classic ghost and a favorite of many. The poltergeist can be pretty obvious. Poltergeist, a term from Latin origin, means the noisy spirit, and this ghost will make this known. These ghosts are very active and don't have a hard time showing themselves. It has an increased chance to throw objects, and it can do a powerful throw where it throws a single object a very far distance. When the poltergeist throws an object, it will subtract your sanity by 2% each time. If it throws 2 at a time, then it will subtract by 4%. But like that was also just mentioned, this is the only ghost that can throw multiple items at the same time. A very fun trick to do to identify this ghost easier is to put a lot of objects in a pile, and it has a small chance to explode the pile and send objects flying. This is a very clear sign that this is a poltergeist, because this is the only ghost that will do this. The poltergeist doesn't have any hunt benefits. A good weakness for this ghost is emptying the room of all its objects. This takes away any strength that this ghost may have. Number 5. The Banshee. The Banshee is a very unique ghost. In interactions, this ghost doesn't really have anything too special about it. The Banshee does, however, have an increased chance of doing singing ghost events. But the interesting thing and main focus of this ghost is that the Banshee only targets one player at a time. Any ghost event or interaction will be directed toward a specific player. The banshee will only target one person's sanity also. So if one player is at 25% sanity and the other person is at 80% sanity, and say the person with 25 is the target, then the ghost can still hunt even if the other person is at 80% sanity. When hunting, only the targeted player needs to hide. The regular players can even walk into the ghost and touch it, and it will be completely safe. If you are in nightmare mode and the ghost kills the target, then it will choose a new target to chase in the same hunt. The secret ability of the banshee is that it can scream into the parabolic microphone. Don't mistake this though for the regular paranormal sounds in the paramic. These are the regular sounds. And this is the banshee scream. Number 6, the jinn. Some believe this to be a very scary ghost while others don't. The jinn likes to have the lights on. It thrives on having light. It is completely incapable of turning off lights or the breaker. So if you ever see this happen, then you know it isn't a jinn. However, events can still turn lights off, and all the lights will still turn off after a hunt as usual. If the breaker and lights are on, then this ghost has a benefit during a hunt. It can quickly run toward the player and then slow down to the normal speed of a ghost when it gets close. You don't have to worry about this happening if you simply keep the breaker off, however. The jinn has a secret ability where if you are near the ghost, it can randomly choose to drop your sanity by 25%. Number 7, the mare. Unlike the jinn, this ghost thrives in the darkness. You will never see it turn on a light, and it will always try to keep the lights off. This ghost has an increased chance to break a light bulb during a ghost event. It will also try to roam away from any light that you may turn on, flashlight not included. The mare can hunt from 60% sanity if it's in a dark room, making it the first early hunting ghost on this list. But its big weakness is that if you have a light on around the ghost, then it becomes a late hunter, only being able to hunt from 40% sanity. But it will always try to roam to the darkness so it has its strength. So don't rely too much on containing the mare in the light. Number 8, the Revenant. Another favorite and also burden of many players. The Revenant is no joke, the fastest ghost in the game being its iconic trait. During a hunt, a Revenant can travel at great speeds if you are in line of sight. So don't expect to escape this ghost if you aren't carrying a smudge stick to repel it. Something that you may not expect though is that the Revenant is also incredibly slow if you aren't in its line of sight. This can easily be used to identify the ghost in a hunt if you are already hiding. Other than speed, the Revenant doesn't really stand out in any interactions. It's a pretty calm ghost that doesn't do too much. But once you find the ghost room, I suggest laying down a couple crucifixes if you don't want to get hunted. Number 9, Shade. The Shade is a ghost, a very sad one. The Shade is the weakest ghost in the game, and if you ever get team wiped by them, then I'm sorry, you're bad at the game. The Shade is a very quiet and introverted ghost. It is very unlikely for this ghost to ever hunt if there are more than one person in a ghost room at the same time. It fears the players, and it also isn't very active. It doesn't usually do too many interactions, and it's really unlikely for it to do ghost events that aren't a smoke ball hissing event. If it does choose to manifest its body, then it has an increased chance for it to use the Dark Shadow Ghost model. The Shade is a very late hunter, only being able to hunt around 30% sanity or lower. Though, if you have multiple people in the room with the ghost at the same time, then it's uncommon for it to hunt at all, even if you are at 0% sanity. Overall, sad ghost. Number 10, the Demon. A very scary ghost that has been the demise of many players. The Demon is not a force to be reckoned with. This ghost is anything but shy. The Demon will make itself known and probably very obvious in a short period of time. The Demon being the only ghost in the game that can do this, it can hunt you from 100% sanity. You can be hunted by the Demon the second you walk in the front door. The lower the sanity you become, the more and more it will hunt. Other ghosts have a cooldown between hunts of 25 seconds. This is the minimum other ghosts have to wait before they can hunt again. The Demon, on the other hand, has a cooldown of 20 seconds. This may not seem like that much, but it truly makes a huge difference. This ghost will begin to do what is called chain hunting if your sanity becomes low. It will rapidly hunt with its shorter cooldown, and it won't give up. But however, there is a good weakness that the demon has to counteract this for a small period of time. The demon is a lot more affected by the crucifixes. When faced against the demon, the crucifix will have an increased radius of double the size. You can rely on that to help you. I recommend not relying on smudge sticks though to cleanse it. They have a much shorter effect on this ghost. Number 11, the yurei. The yurei is quite similar to the spirit to a certain extent. This ghost doesn't really have anything that benefits it, and they both have similar weaknesses. Starting with the weaknesses, the yurei will be trapped in a ghost room if you smudge this area. This will prevent the ghost from hunting or roaming out of the room for 1 minute and 30 seconds. The yurei's strength allows the ghost to perform a sanity drop. Basically, this just means that at a random point, your sanity will be drained a large amount. This can put you in hunting range if the ghost chooses to do this. A secret and very random ability that this ghost has is that it can open or close any door in the house a full 90 degrees. Quite random, but if you ever see this, then you're almost guaranteed to have a yurei.
Number 12, cock.
Number 12, the oni. A favorite of mine and many, the oni is a very fun ghost for an experienced hunter. This ghost has no hunt benefits, it's just a regular ghost that's just very active. It often does many interactions and plenty of ghost events. One thing to note though, this ghost is incapable of doing a smoke ball ghost event. So if you ever see this, then cross oni off your list. One thing that the oni shares with the poltergeist is its ability to throw objects very far. It can't throw multiple, but it can throw very hard. This ghost's weakness is that it is easy to identify because it is truly the most active ghost in this game. Number 13, the yokai. The yokai is a very interesting ghost. This low IQ aggressive ghost can be fun to mess around with for experienced players. The yokai is an early hunter that becomes aggravated by loud noises. If you and a team member are near the ghost and you are talking a lot, the yokai will use that chance to early hunt. Once hunting though, this ghost becomes quite stupid. If you are far away from the ghost, it cannot hear you at all. Once hunting though, this ghost becomes very stupid. If you are far away from this ghost, it can't hear you at all. So it won't know where to roam to if you are hiding and talking. It's not too hard to escape the yokai as it has a harder time detecting your electronic devices. This includes flashlight and EMF reader. You can have those items on safely in a hunt. Number 14, the hantu. Both a very weak and strong ghost. This ghost decides whether it's fast or not depending on the temperature of the room. The hantu thrives in freezing temperatures. This won't be very scary or harmful in certain rooms, but some examples of scary rooms for this ghost are the hallway on the Willow Street house, the kitchen or dining room on Tanglewood, or the gym on High School. This ghost will travel at inescapable speeds in a freezing room, but if you go more into warmer areas, the hantu will become very slow. This makes the hantu a very fun ghost to loop around objects. Because this ghost needs the cold, even though one piece of evidence is always hidden in nightmare mode, the hantu is always guaranteed to have freezing temps as one of the evidences. Another note, be sure to keep the breaker on in the house, because the hantu will naturally make all the rooms progressively colder as the contract goes on.
Number 15.
The goryo. A pretty interesting ghost with nothing too special about it. The goryo isn't a hard ghost to go up against by any means. This ghost really doesn't roam far from its room. It stays contained in its little area and very rarely steps out of it. The goryo is the dots ghost. That's the whole thing about it. It has special dots. When the goryo does dots, it can't be seen by the naked eye. You can only see these dots when looking through a video camera lens. Please nobody try this through a photo cam. I know there will be someone. Because this ghost relies on dots, similar to the hantu, on nightmare mode, the ghost is always guaranteed to have dots as evidence. The goryo has no special abilities other than not roaming. It often won't do dots if you are near the ghost. So that concludes that one. Number 16, the myling. The myling is most known for one ability. Its footsteps are silent during a hunt until the ghost is nearby. So if you're ever feeling like it's a myling but you aren't sure, then you can do a cool trick where you drop the flashlight on the floor of your hiding spot. The footstep sound radius is about the same as your flashlight blinking radius. So if the footsteps are silent outside of the blinking radius but loud when it's inside, then you're probably dealing with a myling. Another thing to note, the myling has an increased chance to make paranormal sounds through the parabolic microphone. You can use this trick to potentially help out a little bit if you can't find any evidence. Last thing to note, only the footstep noises are quiet. This means that singing or whatever vocal sound that the myling makes in a hunt will still be as loud as normal. Brief intermission. If you are still watching up to this point and you are enjoying this content or enjoying my wonderful and amazing speaking, then check out my Twitch at twitch.tv/Billsuki. We stream Phasmophobia quite often, and we like to do community games with a lot of the viewers. So if that's your thing, then come check us out. Number 17, the onryo. This is the death of me every time. I just never realize it's an onryo until it's too late. The onryo is similar to an oni in activity and interaction. If the ghost does just a few ghost events, then you're in luck. You're now in hunting range. The onryo can hunt at around 70% sanity. That's pretty high if you ask me. Though, when an onryo blows out a single candle, it has a 50% chance of hunting right there, no matter what your sanity might be. But if you have multiple candles near the ghost, then this will act as reusable crucifixes. The onryo cannot hunt unless all the fire sources around it are extinguished. This includes candles and even the Maple Lodge's campfire. And in case you were wondering, because I have seen it before, yes, normal crucifixes also work. But once you know that the ghost that you're dealing with might be an onryo, it's smart to bring out the flames. Number 18, the twins. The first and only ghost to be in two places at once. The twins are a unique pair, consisting of a main ghost and a decoy. The main ghost commonly does the most interactions, while the decoy does a little bit less. This ghost can be extremely easy to figure out on a small map. This ghost does what the community likes to call twinteractions. It is an interaction where two objects in two separate places are interacted with at the same time, or really close together. This can be harder to identify on a large map because they could be so far apart that you might not be able to hear if it ever threw something. The twins can hunt from either ghost. After some science, it was determined that this ghost can hunt around a 50-50 split between either one. One important thing to note, the main ghost is slightly slower than the default walking speed of a ghost, while the decoy actually moves faster than the default. As a musician, I've determined that the default walking speed of a ghost is around 100 BPM, or beats per minute, while the decoy is around 110 BPM, and the main ghost is around 90 BPM. Number 19, the raiju. One of, if not the scariest ghosts in the game. The raiju can early hunt and is super fast. Gee, thanks game for adding this. The raiju benefits from electronic equipment in the house or building. By having even as little as a flashlight in the house can activate the raiju's abilities. This ghost can hunt from around 60% sanity, and it is extremely fast. This ghost doesn't speed up or slow down, it's just the same fast speed always. Now, technically, you could turn off the breaker and not bring in any electronics to rid the power of this ghost, but that's kinda lame. The raiju doesn't really have a weakness. Yeah, sure, you can just leave all the equipment inside the truck, but you and I both know that's not gonna happen. In order to know what kind of ghost you're dealing with, you need evidence, and the raiju requires 100% electronic tools to find it. You need an EMF, camera, and dots projector. Number 20, the obake. The most overhyped ghost when it was first introduced. The obake has some unique traits. First off, it has nothing to help it in a hunt, but it can be tough to find sometimes. The obake doesn't really like having its presence known. It will actively try to hide any fingerprints that it leaves behind. At the drop of a hat, the obake can make every handprint in the house disappear all at once. This can be used to your advantage if you see it touch a few doors and a few seconds later all the fingerprints are gone. As I briefly mentioned at the beginning, this ghost was very overhyped. This is because the description said that this ghost was a shapeshifter, which means only one thing, and this leads to its hidden ability. It has a rare chance to leave behind a unique 6-fingered handprint. And another thing to note, the fingerprints are 100% guaranteed on nightmare mode because of this. This can be used to identify the ghost instantly if you see it. These handprints look like this. Number 21, the Mimic. I've honestly been dreading this one. There's really no good way of explaining this ghost, so I will do my best here. The Mimic is a ghost that at any given time will choose to be another ghost. This doesn't mean much for the investigation part too much, other than it potentially mimicking a poltergeist throw or an obake handprint. But it can choose to be any ghost during a hunt. It can choose to hunt you early, or it can choose to be fast. It can be any ghost at random. The Mimic has 4 pieces of evidence unlike other ghosts. It has freezing, spirit box, fingerprints, and fake orbs. These fake orbs are what are important here. These orbs follow where the ghost is standing rather than just the room that it's in. These orbs are unofficial evidence, so if you see these orbs, don't put them in a book. It could lead you down the wrong path. But with the Mimic, this is a rare case that this ghost is a lot easier to identify in nightmare mode. This ghost will always have these orbs on nightmare mode, and it will give 3 pieces of evidence. This makes this ghost very easy to find in this game. We made it to the final 3 ghosts. Now, we are going into some new territory as these ghosts were just recently added to the game. But I will still describe them in depth as much as I possibly can. If I do say anything that's inaccurate or if I miss anything, do let me know in the comments. Number 22, the moroi. This new friend of the game can be very terrifying. The moroi is a ghost that can place a curse on the player. This curse can be obtained by either using a spirit box or parabolic microphone. The curse makes the player's sanity naturally drain by twice its normal speed, and this ghost thrives on sanity loss. The moroi can and will move faster during a hunt the lower your sanity is. This ghost can get up to Revenant speeds if you're low enough sanity. A weakness that the moroi has, though, is that the effects of repelling the ghost with a smudge stick stay a lot longer. So you have a longer period of time that you can escape from the moroi if smudged. Number 23, the deogen. This new addition is what old-time ghost hunters always wanted. The deogen is a ghost that if you don't know what it is right away, then you're screwed. The deogen senses the player's location at all times, meaning it will find you during a hunt. It will travel at insane speeds to get to you, but don't be alarmed by this. The deogen becomes slower the closer you get to it, meaning you can walk and loop this ghost during hunts. Finally, a ghost for looping. The deogen has a hidden ability where if you are standing directly on top of the ghost's location and you use the spirit box, then you will receive loud breathing noises as a response. This is guaranteed to work so long as you're standing directly on top. Last thing to note, this ghost is a late hunter, only being able to hunt from 40% sanity or lower. Number 24, the thaye. And for our last ghost, we have the thaye, or thaye, or thaye. There's a million pronunciations of this ghost's name. This ghost gets older in the presence of a player. What does this mean? This means that the ghost deteriorates over the course of the contract. The thaye is incredibly powerful at the beginning of the round. This ghost will be extremely fast and can hunt at around 80% sanity from the beginning of the round. But by being in the ghost room, the thaye will get weaker over time, becoming slower and reducing the sanity it can hunt you from. The speed becomes slower in many stages. The slowest it gets sitting around 60 BPM or beats per minute. You can walk faster than this, so this ghost doesn't stay much of a threat for too long. This ghost has the hidden ability that if you ask the Ouija board how old the thaye is, it will respond with different ages as the round goes on. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video or found it educational or helpful in any way. Be sure to subscribe and leave a like. It helps me out a lot. If there's anything that I might have missed or anything that may have been inaccurate, please let me know in the comments down below. It helps me a lot for when they add future ghosts into the game and I need to make another one of these videos. Another little plug, be sure to follow my Twitch once more at twitch.tv/Bilsuki. And I hope you have a good rest of your day. Safe hunting, friends.